20, 10, retard, retard, retard.
Hey, good evening everyone. I hope you're all doing good. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's see. Lee, nice to see you. Yoda, hello. Eagle Motion, hello to you as well. And on the YouTube side, Seran, hello to you. Florian, Vakaro, Unai, Debanji, nice to see you. Andreas, Jet A1. I hope you're all doing good. Florian, already in with the first question. Do you think the transition from right seat to left seat is difficult? No. No, it literally only takes, a couple of sim missions, 2 or 3 sim missions to really get you used to steering the aircraft with the other hand. The brain is extremely efficient in switching around, and then, you have your muscle memory kicking into effect again, and that way, yeah, it's not a problem at all. Hey Casper, and hello Philip, I hope you're all doing good. Alex, hello to you. Pale Ale. Oh, Lee, it's still 1 week until holidays. Ah, okay. Luke, good evening. Yes, I'm doing well. I've been to Switzerland.
Welcome aboard the Captain Black Box Twitch channel subscriber experience. Could new subscribers please
and
make
Alpha
your way to
KL
the
coming in.
first class cabin, where complimentary drinks, snacks, and premium flight entertainment
Hey,
will be
Alpha,
served.
thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hello, Mr. at Black Box 711. Hope all okay.
Yes, it is. Thank you so much, and thanks for the 4-month streak, so 15 months in total. Big round of applause. Thank you so much. Right, so what are we up to today? We are flying from Hamburg up to Bergen, new scenery from RDPresets. And yes, we are giving away 2 copies of that new Bergen scenery. Also, we've had a very interesting video out from Mentor Pilot. I'm not sure if you've already seen that, regarding the Air France 447 crash. And interesting again that it's a very, very good video, so a very factual, right on point regarding the facts and the final report. What's missing though is the human factor side, and that's what we'll talk about today. And I'll give you some of my insights regarding some possible explanation why the pilots reacted the way that they did, and again, that from a human factor side. Hey Philip, yeah, fantastic. And Sanders, how was sledding? Well, I'll tell you what, Sanders, it was actually pretty cold. We had about -7 degrees in the mornings there, and actually had snow. So yeah, lovely quick holiday there. Amundos, or Amondusius, how you doing? Nice to see you. All right, without further ado, let's go load the aircraft. Let's do that real time. If you are flying along, I'm on VATSIM, so flight plan is filed, and so let's start everything. Let me just adjust the volume here. So for me, the aircraft sounds are very loud. There we go. That's a bit better. I always have a feeling that I have to shout. Right. So I hope you've all had a great weekend, and interesting football games as well, right? I mean, some pretty cool games. Oh yeah, Christmas soon. How many days? 10 days? So the countdown is on, yeah. Right, let's get going here. AOC menu, flight in it.
Welcome aboard the Captain Black Box Duo channel experience. Could new
Hey!
subscribers please make their way to the first class cabin, where complimentary drinks, snacks and premium flight infotainment will be served. Thank you.
Fly Lido, thank you so much for the 4
Hello.
months. Hello, I hope you're doing well, Lido. The Banji. Jesus Christ, that's my co-pilot. Blimey. Yeah, so the Banji, it's the accident where the A330 had a loss of airspeed indications because the pitot tubes
I'm out
froze.
for the walk around.
All right. The pitot tubes froze, and the pilots, or the pilot flying, got the aircraft into a full stall. And they never understood that they were in a stall. And so from a pilot point of view, your initial thought would be, how can they possibly do that? How did they not notice what was going on? How did they stall a perfectly good aircraft with just, some speed indications missing? But like I said, there are some human factors at play that I think explain to a certain point why the pilots reacted the way that they did. Hawkins, hello. Yeah, Hawkins, are you for which country? France, Morocco? What? Who are you supporting? And Mozart Kugel, hello to you. Hawkins, yeah. Jim Gordon, hello to you. How are you doing? Well, yesterday the game was brilliant, I have to say. So Argentina played
Welcome aboard
so well.
the Captain Black Box Duo Channel experience. Could new subscribers please make their way to the first class cabin, where complimentary drinks, snacks and premium flight infotainment will be served. Thank you.
Fly high, BP. Thank you so much for the 2 months. Thank you for continuing your support here. That's much appreciated. I hope you're doing well. So, we are going to Bergen, and we've got a flight time of 1 hour, 20 minutes. Alternate is Stavanger. And the weather. You had a bet for Brazil, didn't win this time. Yeah, unfortunately not. So Bergen currently -4, QNH 999, no sick, and the wind is alright. And the forecast, 14 snow showers, that should be gone. So we don't expect any snow showers this evening. So that's fine. And Stavanger, Cabo K -4, forecast, well, maybe some showers, but it looks alright. So that's fine as well. Hamburg currently -5. We've got -7 right now in Bremen. No joke, it is so freaking cold here. Yeah, at the Banji, I can recommend you the latest Mentor Pilot video. Again, he's been very thorough in gathering all the facts, explaining the weather situation, the weather phenomena, different aspects from the aircraft with alternate law. Very well done. However, again, it's just difficult to talk about human kind of factors where there are a lot of assumptions in that. Sandra says it was -10 in Bergen today. Wow, that's pretty cold, yeah. Blimey. Good. Import the route. Just go to Mentor Pilot. Let me just see if I can give you the link for that. Hold on. There we go. So that's from Mentor Pilot. Now I've made the video. It's actually finished. However, I just need to go through it again in a very kind of concentrated way or manner to make sure that that I don't quote anything or say anything which may upset someone. Yep. Yeah, Andreas. Yeah, also very good. Yeah. Right, let's have a look at the ATIS currently here in Hamburg. So we do have ATIS. I'm just not sure. That's interesting. It says Hamburg ATIS offline, but I can see it in the V-pilot. Oh, there we go. No. So information alpha, 1750 report time. Right, Bremen radar 123925. There we go. So we can get that later. Takeoff 23. Ah, okay. And we've got 1002 on the QNH. Fantastic. So for those on Twitch, again, the video link for Mentor Pilot's video, if you haven't seen it yet, I can strongly recommend it. So runway 23. Now, since we're doing ACAN departure, let me just go get airport chart, parking stands.
I'm back. No issues on the walk around.
Thank you much. Hope you had a good warm jacket with you. You see, it's too cold for me to go outside for the outchat check, so I have to send my co-pilot to do that. That's just the way it is. Yeah, Lilo, I've seen some reports. I wasn't really that impressed by it, so yeah, it's incredible how much power they use, and the only compared to the 4080, where they're able to score, you know. So the 4090 is still a lot more powerful and uses less power, it seems. Right, 5,000 is initial climb. Yeah, Merclone, my twin brother. All right, so we've got a cost index of 15. Cruising level should be 350, and we should be getting about minus 50 degrees. Cool. So that's the preliminaries, I guess. Yeah, so prelim load sheet 58.4. And CG 31.7 expected, and the fuel is about 5.8 block fuel. Let's just check the fuel value here in the flight plan as well. So we did want to have, yeah, 5.8 block, a little bit extra fuel. So that should be good. So the flight plan says we're going to go 210 knots, 500 feet, then Delta Hotel 111, max 210, and then 102, max 210. Let's just go departure 23, ACON 1 Bravo. So 111, overfly 102, and then 106, 112, 103, and 160.
Hi, the security and safety checks are all done. Are you good to start boarding?
Yes.
Okay.
They will have frame generation 2023. Okay. All right, so 5,000 feet, transition 5,000, fantastic. For the arrival, now I do expect ILS, I guess 17, and we're supposed to fly an arrival from Barup, and so that's probably going to be the Barup to November. So let's have a look here at the plan mode. All right, that looks good. And then approach via. Ooh, let's see what final fix do we get. Sandra says that's from FS2 crew. Katie pilot? No, I don't think so. Yeah, it's FS2 crew. So ground charts, airport parking stands, and let's go approach ILS Whiskey 17 and the arrival bad up to November, and so that should be via Gilva. Let's just check that. Yeah, Gilva it is. Cool. So we'll select that, insert airport, and that should be all right. Perfect. Excellent. Good. So init A page was filled out. We got -5, we said. Wow, look at the tropopause here, guys. That is very low. Wow. Look at that. I was just wondering, because I saw the planned flight level. Actually I had 370 in the flight plan initially, and that was -50 degrees. So very typical. Remember, guys, the temperature continues to drop until you hit the tropopause level, and then in the troposphere the temperature remains the same. So we can see -48, -50 or something, and it's -53, and then even -52. It gets even warmer again as we climb up to the cruising level. So that's quite fascinating. Right, so B page filled out this. Let's do the wind request as well. And the alternate was Stavanger, and we need a alternate fuel of 900 kilograms.
Welcome aboard the Captain Black Box Twitch channel.
Hey, Darcy.
Could new subscribers
Thanks so
please
much.
make your
Wow,
way to
29
the
months.
first-class cabin, where complimentary drinks, snacks, and premium flight entertainment will be served. Thank you.
Darcy, thank you so much for 29. That's a long time. Thank you so much for that. I hope you're doing well. So that's all filled out. Fantastic. Wind data is inserted. RATNAV for departure. Now we don't really need anything, but I'm going to put in just the VOR Ulster. Yeah, that's fine. That's all we need. Cool. Secondary, just copy the active, and we'll do a quick return if required. And they said landing is runway 15. So we'll do RLS 15, no star and no via. And then we'll have the engine up procedure, so runway 23. And for that, check again our website. And so we have NDP 2 and engine out 1600 feet, straight ahead 228, 25 miles. Fantastic. And 1060. 1060. Oh, in case you're wondering what we are doing today, so we're flying to Bergen, and then we go on a second flight. We'll fly the latest updated FSW Cessna 414 from Pula to Klagenfurt and then to Innsbruck, and try out that aircraft again. It'll be on multiplayer, so if you do want to join on that flight, feel free to do so. Alrighty, let's do the performance. No, so Sanders, no, no, sun has nothing to do with it. It's just the way the atmosphere works. And so it's a dry runway for sure. Anti-ice, I don't think so. It's not wet anything, so we don't have clouds. Anti-ice probably off, packs off. And I think we require around about 64.3 or something. So for the QNH we'll do 1001. Temperature... Heh? It's minus, isn't it? So let's do -4. Yeah, that copied the temperature wrong. Runway 23. So, do we have intersections? I'm sure we do. So, taxi out is going to be, well, Alpha 1. They've got Alpha 3 and Alpha 4. So, let's take Alpha 3 in this case. No, so Vaccaro, that was more dependent on, you know, the pandemic. I think they had more to do with it. Right, we'll do config 2. We'll take those values. Alpha 3, runway 23. So 2 down 0.4. 62. Oh, 68 actually. 144, 144, 148. The shift is, oh, actually 146 and 100. 146 and 100 meters shift. Yeah, Bartek, I know. I've talked to the developer and they're aware of it. Yeah, they had some issues with Microsoft, but they're on it and should be fixed soon. And Eurorack, according to Google, looks like the ozone contained in the stratosphere absorbs the majority of sun heat during the day, obviously. Could be. Sanders, that's always a good answer. That's just the way it works. Cool. I'm going to enter the data as well into FS2 crew. Oh, that just reminds me. I need to have the control options correctly set. I think I already have the, yeah. So I need to do that with the FENIX. So we'll do FENIX with FS2 crew. And, oh, where's my... joystick, there it is, and so joystick, FENIX as well, apply and save. Cool. Excellent. So, we're doing a config 2 departure. Pushback not required. Well, pushback is required. Radar not required. Thrust reduced. Takeoff runway is 23. We've got speeds 144, 144, and 146. Flex temp 68. Cruise is in 350. Transition 5000. 1000. There. Threats none. All right. Shall we try to get clearance? It's only PDC above level 245. Okay, cool. Pen. so current information is Alpha. Bremen Radar Moin, the windmill 711, information Alpha in Hamburg, request clearance please. Oh, darn, hang on. There it is. So I should be hearing him. Okay, hang on, there's an issue with the audio, hold on. How come I can't... Audio, testing 1, 2, 3. That should be okay. I'm not sure why he's not hearing me. Let me just get dial the ATIS in here. So 124. No, 123.925. That's what it says on the ATIS. 325. Let me just try reconnect here. Ah, there we go. Now it should work. Yeah, I had to restart vPilot. Bremen Radar Moin from Windmill 711.
Windmill 711, Bremen Radar. Do you copy?
Yeah, sorry, I had some audio issues. Now read you 5 by 5. So information Alpha request clearance please to Bergen.
First, Lufthansa 778, turn left heading 180, cleared LS 15.
Left and heading 180, cleared LS 15, Lufthansa 778.
Windmill 711, information Alpha clearance, startup approved, cleared to Bergen via Econ 1 Bravo departure, flight plan route, climb via SIT 5000 feet, squawk 2501.
Windmill 711 is cleared to Bergen, Econ 1 Bravo departure, runway 23, climb initially via SIT 5000, squawk 2501.
Windmill 711, read back correct.
Alrighty.
Boston 1 Alpha, descend altitude 3000 feet, maintain present heading.
Descend 3000 feet and maintain present heading. Of Gen 1 Alpha.
Oh yeah, so Lila, I have it as well, but I haven't tried it yet, strangely enough, yeah.
Radar,
Yeah, thanks for reminding, yeah. Oh yeah, I would say Moin and to ATC as well in real life, absolutely.
Nana, Echo Charlie, Bremen Radar identified.
Just dialing down the Sims, the vPilot sound initially. Are you ready for the departure brief? Go ahead. So we are departing runway 23 via the Econ 1 Bravo departure. We should climb 5000. The sector around Hamburg is 2,100 feet, and this should climb was 5,000, and we have extra fuel 800 kilograms. Taxi out, pushback. It will probably be either normal or Zulu 1 orange, Zulu 1 blue. Taxi out then to Zulu 1 and either Alpha 1 or Alpha 3. Departure 23. Stop margin is not critical. Runway is long enough. Dry.
778, back on frequency.
And in case of engine out straight ahead, acceleration is going to be in 1600 feet.
Alistair 778, you were disconnecting.
Clean up, we climb 3000, radar vectors, runway 15, return
wind 170 degrees
to Hamburg. We will be below max landing weight. And that's it. Any questions?
No questions.
So I'm just going to enter the final figures. So the final load sheet is here. Hey Kitman, nice to see you. How you doing? So we're going to have 58.4 with a CG of 30.8. 64 takeoff weight. We calculate with 64.3, so that's fine. And that looks good. Cockpit preparation checklist.
Gear pins and covers. Removed. Fuel quantity.
5,780 kilograms.
Seat belts. On. ADRs.
NAF.
Baro ref.
QNH 1002 set.
1002 set. Cockpit preparation checklist completed.
I got a question regarding procedures with, starter pushback and so on. So all we had up to this point is the airway clearance, so the departure clearance and initial airway clearance. So we don't have startup clearance yet, so we're not allowed to start the engines yet, and we're not allowed to push back. Why is that important? Well, we may have sometimes a lot of traffic, and so ATC could hold us back until the traffic gets better. And so that's why, sometimes it will take a while until you get your startup clearance. So what you normally do is you ask for start and push as you are ready for the pushback procedure. Ui, that's a big plane next to us. GG. Hope he has collision turned off. Let me just have a look here.
Good evening, Victor 5.
So that's all closed. We're going to check the parking brake is set. So chocks can go off, that can go off. And once the APU is on, which it is...
Say again.
I just wanted to say that you are...
We'll have the GPU removed. The jetway is gone as well. Oh, there we go. So Google says something like that as well. Hey, Sim Caesar. Hey, TV Avenger. So Sim Caesar, big shout out. How did the shared flight go then? Yeah, so unfortunately my wife just took the opportunity that once I'm on holiday, she made lots of appointments regarding friends, family and so on. And so, yeah, I've got to get up fairly early tomorrow. Oh, the shared flight is tonight. Okay, I thought you already tried. Ah, okay. Before start checklist.
Parking brake.
Set.
Takeoff speeds and thrust.
V1 144, VR 144, V2 146, flex temp 68 degrees.
V1 144, VR 144, V2 146, flex temp 68 degrees. Windows.
Closed.
Beacon. On. Before start checklist completed.
I know Sim Caesar, right? I know. How there?
Going to Juliet, confirm plan 5000 feet, squawk 2502.
So let's get start and push here.
Climb 5,000 feet and squawk 257 and 2 Juliet.
So we're at Alpha.
Unix 2 Juliet, read back, correct.
Windmill 7 on 1 in Hamburg. I'll at stand 4 request push and start, please.
Windmill 711, push and start approved, facing north, Zulu 1 blue line.
Facing north, Zulu 1 blue line, push start approved. Windmill 711. Flight deck to ground.
Go ahead, flight deck.
We will be ready shortly.
Roger.
Request startup and clearance to Düsseldorf.
So, wow, Zulu 1 blue, that's all the way back here.
German
Okay.
9037 Hamburg Tower came just online. Contact him please for clearance on 126.850.
Oh no. What's he doing? Come on. Lol. Oh no, come on. We are ready for push and engine start.
Roger. Release the parking brakes, please.
I hope this is going to work. Brakes released.
Pushing back.
All stations on the ground apron at Hamburg, please for further service contact now 126.850. Bye bye. Austrian 1 Alpha, vacate the left via Alpha 6 and contact Hamburg Tower 126.850. Bye bye.
7 Hamburg Tower, hello. For your flight, I need you on an even flight level. Would you accept 180 or 200?
We'll take 180.
Ground from flight deck. Flight deck to ground.
German Wings 9037, that's cockpit. I call you back for clearance. Number 1.
Roger, German Wings 11.
I hope that's going to work. Well, I don't have GSX anymore, that's the thing,
Austrian 1
so...
Alpha, are you on frequency?
Flight deck to ground. Flight deck to ground. Hamburg Tower, Moin, Windmill 7 on 1 stand 4 requesting push and start, please.
Windmill 711 Hamburg Tower, hello. Pushback approved facing north, Zulu 1 blue line.
Facing north, Zulu 1 blue line, Windmill 7 on 1. Flight deck to ground.
Austrian 1 Alpha,
Go
are
ahead,
you on
flight deck.
frequency?
We will be ready shortly.
Roger.
German Wings 9037, ready to copy clearance?
What's happening?
Go ahead now.
Oh, come on!
German Wings 9037, information Charlie Corvette, startup approved, cleared Düsseldorf, Basel 5 Golf departure, flight plan route, Clapper sit, 5,000 feet, squawk 1,000.
Blimey! Got to be kidding me!
German Wings 9037, we decorate.
Hamburg Tower, Moin, Austrian 1 Alpha, vacated Alpha 6, if possible, to stand 02 Bravo.
Austrian
Flight
1
deck to
Alpha,
ground.
Hamburg Tower, hello.
Go ahead, flight deck.
02 Bravo is available.
We will be ready shortly.
02 Bravo via Zulu 3
Roger.
1.
Oh, maybe this time. Maybe this time.
Zulu Bravo,
hold on.
via
I think we got
Zulu
this.
Zulu 1
I think we
Octane
got this
Alpha.
now. Immer diese Praktikanten. I'm telling you. We are ready for pushback and engine start.
Roger. Release the parking brakes, please.
Parking brakes released.
Pushing back.
Ah, there we go. Fantastic. That's working.
You are cleared for high knee. Start your engines at your discretion.
Thank you. Starting engine 2. Okay. So I've got to concentrate now, trying to get the right taxi line. So there's orange. Hey Voyager, moin. What do you mean user's fault? Never. So there's the center. And there's the aircraft coming in. I need to hurry up.
Lufthansa 1258,
Oh, he's turning into the gate. Fantastic.
Correct. Startup approved. Cleared Munich, AMLO 2 Bravo departure. Flight plan route. Climb via SIT 5000 feet.
So there's the blue line.
Lufthansa 1258, feedback correct.
Ah, looks pretty good. That looks alright to me.
German wing 9037, pushback approved, facing north Zulu 1 orange line.
Pushback complete. Set parking brakes, please.
Parking brake set.
Roger. Okay, the tow bar is disconnected and the
Start
equipment
engine
is
1.
clear. We will see you on the right
Okay.
with the pin.
You can disconnect and go to hand signals.
Thanks. Have a good flight. See you later.
Thank you.
Eurowings 2 Juliet, Hamburg Tower, hello. Pushback approved, facing north Zulu 1 orange line.
Ladies and gentlemen, all portable electronic equipment and mobile phones should be switched off as we are now about to start
And
our
Eurowings 2
pre-flight
Juliet,
safety
pressing
briefing.
off, please.
We are now going to take you through our safety procedures and equipment. As this information is for your benefit, we ask you to watch and listen carefully. The safety card
Right,
in
that
your
was a good
seat
engine
area
start.
shows details of escape routes, oxygen masks, and life jackets. It also shows the bracing position which you must adopt in an emergency landing. On the main deck there are 2
Flight control
exits
check.
at the rear of the first
Ready.
class cabin and 2 at the front and rear of each other cabin.
Full
On
up.
the upper deck there is an emergency exit on each side in the middle of the cabin. In the unlikely event of having to use the escape slide, leave all hand baggage behind and remove high-heeled shoes as they may tear the slide. Please now ensure that your table is folded away, your seat back is upright,
Flight control
with
check.
the armrest down and your seat belt fastened. The seat belt is fastened and adjusted like this.
Restart the
and
checklist.
unfastened like this. When the fasten seatbelt signs are on, you must go back to your seat and fasten your seatbelt securely. For your own comfort and safety,
After start checklist.
we recommend you keep your
Anti-ice.
seatbelt fastened at all times
Off.
and visible.
ECAM
to
status.
avoid being disturbed
Checked.
in flight.
Pitch trim.
If the cabin air supplies fail, oxygen will be provided. Masks like this
29%.
appear automatically.
Rudder trim.
Stay in your seat and pull a mask
Neutral.
towards you.
After start
This will
checklist
open your
completed.
oxygen supply. Place the mask over your mouth and nose like this, and breathe normally.
Windmill 711 request taxi.
Windmill 711, taxi to holding point runway 23 via Zulu 1 Blue Line and Alpha 4.
Zulu 1 Blue Line, Alpha 4, Windmill 711.
In the event of landing on water, remove
Clear
the
left
life
side.
jacket from its
Clear
container
right
and put
side.
it over your head. Pass the tapes round your waist and tie them securely in a double bow at the side. To inflate, pull the red
Hey
top
Mariner, Hallie, how you doing?
The air can be topped up by using the mouthpiece. There is a whistle here for attracting attention.
Brake check.
Do not inflate your life jacket
Pressure
until you are
0.
outside the aircraft. We will supply life cots for
Welcome
babies
aboard the
and
Captain
life
Black
jackets
Box
for
Twitch
infants.
channel subscriber experience. Could
Finally,
new
ladies and
subscribers please
gentlemen,
make your way
please
to the
study the
first
safety
class
card
cabin,
and take
where
notice of the
complimentary
fasten
drinks,
seatbelt
snacks and
sign.
premium flight
May we
entertainment
remind
will be
you that
served.
electrical portable
Thank you.
items such as games, computing and
So that's still the
microprocessing
same. So Alpha 4, all the same values.
Lufthansa 1258,
Let's check.
pushback approved, face north Zulu 1 Blue Line.
portable telephones must be switched off while the aircraft engines are running.
And Abnav, thank you much for the 12 months. That's 12 months, 1 year. Thank you so much, Abnav. That's really cool. Thank you for the 1 year of support. B753 fan, hello to you.
Please ask one of the crew.
Welcome aboard the Captain Black
Oh,
Box
some
Duo
C's
channel
there.
experience.
Thank you so much.
Could new subscribers please make their way to the first class cabin, where complimentary drinks, snacks and premium flight infotainment will
Taxi
be served.
checklist.
Thank you.
Flight controls. Checked. Checked. Flap setting. Config 2. Config 2. Radar and predictive wind shear system. On and
Welcome
auto.
aboard the Captain Black Box
On
Twitch
and
channel
auto.
subscriber experience.
Engine mode selector.
Could new
711,
subscribers
wind
please
1
make
Normal.
their way to the first
Five
class
Camp
cabin,
Nemo.
where
Clear for
complimentary
takeoff,
drinks,
bye-bye.
snacks and premium flight entertainment will be
Runway
served.
23
Thank you.
cleared for takeoff. Windmill 711. Thanks so
Hey
much.
everyone. Hope everyone is doing good.
Takeoff no blue. Taxi checklist completed. Lineup checklist. Takeoff runway. Takeoff runway confirm. Approach path clear of
um,
traffic.
Sim Caesar, thank you very much for gifting yourself to Mariner Hallie. That's 138
Cabin
gifted
crew,
subs.
be seated for takeoff.
And Solowings, merci beaucoup, monsieur. 26 months. I'm sure you're watching your football tonight, aren't you? Thank you so much to everyone.
Set and checked. Runway 23 confirmed. TCAS. TARA. Packs 1 and 2. Off. Lineup checklist completed.
Ready?
Ready.
Takeoff.
Check.
Manflex 68 SAS runway auto thrust blue.
Checked. Thrust set. .100 knots.
Checked.
B1 rotate.
Channel X9037, swing over to Zulu 1 Blue Line, taxi to holding point runway 23 via
Positive
Zulu 1
climb.
Blue Line and
Gear up.
Alpha 4.
Roger, swing over Zulu
Gear
1
up.
Blue Line and
Nav.
taxi to holding point runway 23 Alpha 4.
So here we got to wait until 2,000 feet and then we switch over automatically.
Packs are on.
Flaps 1.
Speed checked. Flaps 1.
So autopilot 1 is
UX2
on.
Juliet, hold position.
Bremen radar, moin again. Windmill 711 passing 2,000, climbing 5,000.
Windmill 711, Bremen radar identified, climb flight level 240.
Climb over 240, windmill 711. 24,000, thrust climb, climb out blue, auto thrust.
Beautiful.
Windmill
Flap 0.
711, when passing 5,000 feet, proceed direct ALSI, Alpha Lima Sierra.
Out of 5,000 to ILC, Dankeschön, Windmill 711. Flaps 0. Speed checked. Flaps 0. I got to cheat a little bit. Green dot is about 211, 212. And so passing 5,000 direct to LC, he said. So go already pre-select that. We're above sector, so we can accept that. So LC is Alpha Lima Sierra. And we don't need the beam points just yet.
Lufthansa 5, Papa Foxtrot, descent flight level 280.
The weirds were sound at Twitch until thrust reduction? Seriously? We need to check that. So there we go, 5,000. Insert that.
Good night.
Standard cross check. Passing flight level. Lido, good night. 6. Enjoy the match. Now, checked. I'll get to all the questions in a minute, guys. So, let's see. Is the GTX 3080 enough for Microsoft? Yes, it is. Fuel-friendly ATC, absolutely, yeah. I wish developers would focus on shared cockpit implementation. Me too. Me too. Yeah, so the only really good implementations at the moment that are published are the Majestics and the Challenger 650 in X-Plane. And Mark, hello! Mark, how's the kitchen coming along? So let's accelerate here. Normal speed.
The Bremen radar for the
landing lights off.
Line 5 Echo Papa, Bremen radar, good evening. Squawk 2404. 2404, Lufthansa 5 Papa Foxtrot, leaving my airspace. Monitor Unicom. Oh, correction, Denmark just came online. Contact Copenhagen control.
So I'm just going to wait until the pitch is below 7 degrees or 7.5 degrees. Ah, sehr gut. Mark, thank you so much. Seatbelts off.
Frequency again, please.
Sure, that's Lufthansa 5 Papa Foxtrot.
So, secondary, copy active.
121, decimal 375.
Fix info, delete.
Copenhagen control 121, 375. Papa Foxtrot, thank you for your service.
That's all fine then. RatNav, clear as well.
Lufthansa 59 Whiskey is fully ready for departure 09.
There we go. Done everything.
Lufthansa 59 Whiskey, wind Bremen 170 degrees 2 knots. Runway 09, clear for takeoff.
Runway 09, clear takeoff for you, Lufthansa 59 Whiskey.
German wing.
So I'm just dialing down the sim sounds a bit during the flight.
Germix 9037 rim radar identified. Climb flight level 180.
So what can we expect regarding control? Let me just see, because he said Denmark came online. So Bremen radar. Let's have a look. Data. ATC. Map.
Windmill 711, I just got a contact from Copenhagen. Proceed direct AMSEF and climb flight level 350.
Oh, fantastic. Direct to AMSEF and climb level 350, windmill 711 FENIX. So that's really cool of them. So we already got a coordination with the next sector. So there's AMSEF, a beam points. Off we go. Yeah, Solar Wings, enjoy the game. Wish you all the best of luck. Hey, Tim, don't use gate 24 at Bergen. Okay, interesting. Right. So, if we want to cover some of the particulars regarding the Air France 447 accident, which was in 2009, there's a lot of topics to cover. Be aware that the comments I'm going to make about human factors are all my own personal opinion. They're not proven to be, 100% the case in the Air France accident, but if you read through the accident report and the voice recorder transcripts,
59er Whiskey, climb flight level 100. Climb flight level 100 for the 59er Whiskey.
You do notice something, and that is that the BAE, so the Investigation Bureau in France, that officially looked at the accident and their final report, which is over 200 pages long and very extensive, they went through everything regarding, technical aspects, the weather phenomenon, everything, right? And so Mentor Pilot also took that report and kind of compressed it into a 1 hour long video, which is excellent. Again, I can only say hats off for him to do that. Now, of course, he was not going to comment too much about the human factor side because I guess he did just want to make sure that it remains completely factual to the report, which is perfectly fine. Now, for me as a pilot, the first time that I heard about the accident, and I thought, well, the thing what broke down was the pitot tubes freezing up, and so the aircraft losing the speed indications. Now, what happens is that the aircraft will disconnect the autopilot and autothrust and will go into alternate law. So that's what's technically happening at that point. So initially, there's not really a reason for the aircraft to go out of control. All right, so for me as a pilot, I would say, well, why didn't they just use pitch and power?
Whiskey, climb flight level 220.
What was so difficult to establish very quickly a stable flight path? Although, I mean, strictly speaking, the flight path was stable. They were at level 350. And, they had a fixed power setting. And so how come the aircraft within 90 seconds got into a deep stall? That's how long it took. So what's hair-raising is if you look at the voice recorder transcript, that it only took 4 minutes. Let me just see where the autopilot disconnected exactly. So that was 2 hours, 10 minutes into the flight.
So 59er Whiskey, contact Bremen Radar 128.
So 2 hours, 10 minutes, and 3 seconds into the flight, the autopilot was disengaged automatically, and the aircraft went into alternate law. At this point, the captain had just left a couple of minutes prior the cockpit to go and have his break, and so a relief co-pilot took his seat, and so theoretically took over command, and he was sitting on the left side, and the pilot flying, so the other first officer was pilot flying on the right hand side. And so when the autopilot cavalry, so this thing, so when that thing sounded, he said, I have controls. Perfectly good call out. So that was at 2 hours, 10 minutes and 3 seconds. And the impact in the sea was only 4 minutes and 23 or 25 seconds later. 4 minutes, 25 seconds. The aircraft go from 35,000 feet to crash into the sea. That is very fast. And so from a professional viewpoint, you would say, how on earth is that possible? And you can be very quickly, hey Grainer, how you doing? You can be very quickly in criticizing the pilots. And
711, contact Copenhagen Control, 121, 375, tschüss.
121, 375, vielen Dank für den Service, good night, Windmill 711. So 121, 375. Let's see if they have Super DLC. Copenhagen, good evening, Windmill 711, passing flight level 288, climbing 350.
Windmill 711, Copenhagen, very good evening, identified.
So let me just go to ATC. Echo Kilo Delta Bravo, so connection
notification. Echo Copenhagen, very good evening, identified. Proceed direct test B, clear test B 3 Charlie arrival. Direct test B, clear test B 3 Charlie.
Copenhagen, good evening. Bluemax 45 Hotel Juliet with you at flight level 390.
Bluemax 45 Hotel Juliet, Copenhagen, very good evening, identified route direct PPX.
Okay, so the key...
Hey, just confirm route direct again first, Bluemax 45 Hotel Juliet.
Blimey.
PPX, Papa India, Papa Echo X-ray.
Route direct PPX, Bluemax 45 Hotel Juliet.
Hey, Garino, that's nice. Fantastic.
Victor,
great to hear. Okay, so...
Tango Victor, Roger, thank you. 711, Roger, CPDLC.
Thank you so much. So... I looked at the report, and again, I was trying to look and analyze the whole accident from a pilot's point of view, with human factors coming into play.
Then I guess you're on the older ARAC, that's no worries. In that case, you may proceed direct to Tango November.
There were 3 key areas, so 3 comments really that I thought were very noticeable. And
then from that it'll be vectors for
let me just fetch that.
Lufthansa 5 Papa Foxtrot, descend altitude 5,000 feet on Q1H 1001.
Oh, there we go. Hey Bob, how you doing? Greetings to Arizona. Nice. Man, I was in Arizona for about 8 months in 1991. Brilliant time of my life. Lovely, lovely country. Just give me a second. I'm just going to call out the file that I made. Hold on.
Line 5 Echo Papa, descend now, flight level 330.
So there we go. All right, so 3 of the key findings that I just took and tried to analyze from a pilot viewpoint with regards to human factors. So the first one was, in less than 1 minute after the autopilot disconnected, the aircraft exited its flight envelope following inappropriate pilot inputs. That was a comment on the final report, the official final report. So word by word, that was the first, or one of the findings. Another finding that I found very interesting was, although both pilots identified the loss of airspeed indication, neither called out the procedure unreliable airspeed. There's 1,000 feet. Vertical speed Mach. The third finding was that neither pilots identified the stall situation, and hence no attempt was made to initiate a stall recovery procedure to get the aircraft back into its designed flight envelope. So 3 key things here that, again, from a professional viewpoint, you would say, how is that even possible? So I'll give you my
Ladies and gentlemen,
thoughts first of all.
Through the cabin with your meal. On the menu today, we have a variety of dishes.
On the first factor.
Found in our onboard magazine.
So how come it only took 1 minute for the aircraft to leave its flight envelope?
We ask that you return your seat to the upright position as a courtesy to your fellow travellers. Thank you.
Right, so first thing, again, my viewpoint, just my opinion, the first thing
can you accept the short final?
Is when the autopilot drops out at this high altitude, even in normal law, you have to be careful with your stick inputs. You have to be careful, right?
Enter 3022 North Federal ATC at the moment, frequency changes approved, have a safe flight, bye-bye.
So now imagine, suddenly, the autopilot dropping out,
Tango Victor North Federal ATC at the moment, frequency change approved, have a safe flight, bye-bye.
and the aircraft going into alternate law. And the way alternate law works, or worked back then in the A330, was that in the roll axis, it was a direct stick-to-surface input. So not the roll rate demand that you usually used to. It's a direct input. So any large deflection in the stick had an immediate and a severe roll effect on the aircraft. Something completely unusual for the pilots. So pilots have a very little flying experience, manual flying experience at high altitude. Well, why is that? Well, on a normal flight, like this one, you have the seatbelt signs off. So you know that you've got cabin crew and maybe passengers walking around in the cabin and doing service, etc., etc. So what you try to avoid is manual flying, where maybe you are trying, to react to something and then just overdoing the inputs because you're not used to it. And what will fuel that effect is the so-called muscle memory effect. So everyone has a muscle memory effect. So when you play sports, you go golfing or hockey, tennis, whatever, and you do a certain motion repetitively, your brain will start to kind of store that movement, and that's what's called muscle memory. So really, you are, making a movement without really thinking about it. I mean, you are thinking about it, but your muscle memory is actually capable of extremely accurately doing that repetitive motion. The same is true for pilots that fly manually. And I mean, it's a good thing, because imagine if that weren't the case, then every landing would be like your first landing ever on the aircraft. it will take you a while to get used to the flight inputs,
Copenhagen,
right?
Good evening, identified. Climb flight level 370.
So muscle memory, an absolute must. So that way, as you gain experience, you just do the inputs, you know, subconsciously. So you see, you know, certain deviations,
Turn left heading 280 degrees.
and very easily you will do the right actions with the flight stick and have a nice stable flight path. Again, however, if you suddenly are faced
Copenhagen High, Tonjet 4739.
manual flying at high altitude in direct law,
Hello, identified. Route direct 3, caution T-PAN.
and you start, you know, subconsciously making inputs into the flight stick,
Can you repeat that for Tonjet 4739?
then surely the aircraft will start to roll quite violently. And hence,
Danish 174.
as I'm just going to dial down the sounds here from VATSIM. So that's exactly what happened. The aircraft started rolling quite violently left and right as the first officer, the pilot flying, was trying to control the roll rate or the roll of the aircraft. So any kind of disturbance from the outside in form of turbulence, or you know, any roll tendency of the aircraft itself, will then need a reaction in the flight stick. But being, you know, not used to the inputs themselves, you get an overreaction. And so the pilot flying had a hard time controlling the aircraft. And not only like here, nice and smooth air, they were in the top of the clouds and fighting with turbulence, right? Now, another thing was noticeable is that the pilot flying pitched up the aircraft, and if you look at the report where you have graphs showing, you know, all the different values like speed, pitch, attitude, roll angle, and so on, you will notice that the pitch went up and reached a pitch around 12 degrees at some point. And hence the climb rate was very high. I think they were up like 5,000 feet per minute or even higher. And you would ask yourself, well, how is that possible? Why did the pilot flying pull the nose up? He should have known that at this altitude, the speed would drop back so quickly. Well, in my opinion, there's also a human factor coming into play here. And that is, first of all, just prior to the autopilot dropping out, the autopilot, so the flight control system, was battling a nose up, a nose down. No, it was the aircraft was lifting up due to a wind draft, and so the autopilot system initially, just prior to kicking out, pitched the nose down, right? So that the pilots could feel a sensation of the pitch going down at the same time as the autopilot kicked out, because the speed indications were lost. The system behavior was such that the altimeter, so static ports, were no longer correctly corrected for the Mach number effect. So for that, you need the speed indications. As that was lost, the hey Scotsman, how you doing? And Hayden. As that info was lost, the air data modules and so the ADRs stopped correcting the altitude for that effect, for that error, and immediately the altitude showed 300 feet low, and you can imagine that the altitude deviation horn came on as well. So the pilot flying looked at his altimeter and said, oh darn, we had a pitch down, we're 300 feet lower, and the vertical speed was indicating at minus 700 feet per minute.
4335, Copenhagen, very good evening.
So again, he had the impression the aircraft was descending, even though that wasn't true, and he pitched up the aircraft, subconsciously maybe. And again, because of that very sensitive control system at that moment, the aircraft very quickly pitched up, and I'm sure he pitched up more than he wanted to. At that moment, so only a couple seconds after the autopilot dropped out, there were two instances where you heard the stall warning come on. So you heard stall, stall, and then bloop, stall, stall. And the first officer sitting on the left-hand side actually commented, "What is that?" And you can imagine the amazement they had in that very dynamic situation with autopilot whaler, the auto thrust caution chime, the auto deviation horn sounding, and then the stall warning coming on as well in very rapid succession. And the initial thought would be, hang on, why would we be stalling? Just 5 seconds ago, we're flying in a stable condition. Surely that must be wrong. And they called out as well. They noticed the speed indication was gone. And so surely, that's my opinion, they thought it was just a wrong indication, a wrong kind of erroneous call from the stall warning. So as the aircraft pitched up to about 12 degrees, and that wasn't corrected quickly enough, the speed dropped back very quickly, and the altitude climbed, obviously. So there was a trade-off between altitude and speed.
Sorry, could you say wind again, sorry?
060 degrees, 4 knots.
Another thing that may have played into that tendency to climb the aircraft was maybe, that's just a speculation on my side, we know that they were riding top of the clouds of that bad weather, and so maybe the pilots could see clear skies above, and I know that they talked about possibly climbing to the next level, 370, and the captain saying, while he was still the flight deck, the captain saying, no, that's too close to our recommended max altitude, and we don't want to be stuck at that at that level. Yeah, Juma, talk about Air France 447, yeah. But from a human factor side. So we know all the facts. I'm just trying to get my head around what happened in the flight deck with the pilots, why they lost control of the aircraft. So, next up is the next issue where what happens in alternate law? And we talked about it partially, saying that the roll axis is 1-to-1. So any stick input you do in the roll axis is 1-to-1 to the flight control surfaces, and so very, very sensitive. However, in the pitch axis, the alternate law was still in a G-load demand mode, and the auto trim was working. And this is where the Airbus critics come in. So anybody that loves Boeing will say, well, see, that system wouldn't happen in the Boeing because the auto trim in the Airbus continuously put the stabilizer into a nose-up position, which meant the pilot didn't have to pull back on the stick to maintain the pitch. So in a conventional aircraft, as the speed dropped quite drastically, the nose would have dropped as well. And so the pilot would have had to actively pull back on the yoke, so put a back pressure to prevent the nose from dropping. But here in the A330, and then 320 as well, but the 330, the continuous nose up trim, eventually to its maximum position, nose up, meant the pilot didn't have that intuition, the feel of the nose becoming heavy, and the aircraft actually wanted to drop the nose. If that were the case, maybe then he would have realized, hey, the nose is dropping, the speed must be dropping as well in this case. All right, because he would have actively had to trim the aircraft nose up in a conventional aircraft. So that was one of the downsides at that moment in the Airbus, even in alternate law. Josh says, shocking that the captain went to rest at such a critical phase of flight. Well, you could argue that, but I can tell you that in a normal kind of three-man cockpit, you have to realize that you have mostly very experienced pilots. And so a captain has full trust in his first officers. The only thing really that you can criticize is that the captain didn't really give a clear instruction on how to deal with that, with those thunderstorms, with that bad weather area. So, for example, he could have said, guys, do me a favor and fly around these cells in a safe distance. Don't get too close to them. Right? That may have pre-charged then, to take a little bit more conservative path around these thunderstorms. But again, that's just very speculative. It doesn't mean that it would have saved the aircraft. Juma, so basically from what I understand, the Air Force, that they train exiting a stall similar to a terrain escape maneuver, since the Airbus won't let the plane stall due to alpha flow. Well, not quite, Juma. But in principle, you are correct. Normally, in normal law, you have a flight envelope protection system active, meaning you cannot actively get the aircraft into a stall. So the aircraft flight control computer will lower the nose, and they will not allow you to go above the max or the critical angle of attack. That is correct. However, when we practice stalls and stall recovery in the simulators, we do it in alternate law.
Yes, say again.
And the emphasis is on unloading the wings. So it doesn't matter where your pitch is. The first thing you do, even if it's pitched down, and that's the kind of weird thing, is that even if your wings down, or if you're below the horizon, you can stall the aircraft. So if you're slow and you pull back very hard, it means the angle of attack, the critical angle of attack, may be exceeded, and hence the aircraft could stall. So the first thing you do, even if you're nose down below the horizon, is unload the aircraft. So unload the wings. So you push on the stick. Next thing to do is go wings level, and then slowly add thrust. And once the speed starts picking up and you have a certain buffer above the stall speed, you slowly and carefully pull out of the stall and recover the aircraft. That is practiced. Right. So again, the difference between conventional aircraft and the Airbus, even alternate law, with the auto trim active and the G-load demand factor, meant that the pilot flying manually did not have a intuitional feedback from the aircraft that the speed is low. Right. So the only thing that pointed towards the stall situation was the call out stall. And however, at that point, so either they were so stressed that they didn't hear it, subconsciously hear that stall call out, or they thought it was a wrong and erroneous warning. What is strange, of course, is that neither pilot called out that they were in a stall. And that's something I can't quite comprehend as well. So the second item on the list... Oh yeah, so that's the first item explaining how they got into the stall. Alright, so they pitched up, let the speed drop, and within 90 seconds after the autopilot disconnected, they were already in a heavy stall. Going down. So that's how they got into the stall. And then the second question was, although the pilots identified the loss of airspeed indications, right, even though they saw that, none of them called out unreliable airspeed, start procedure. Well, yeah, but you have to switch that on, Andreas. And I'm getting to that point in a minute. So, unreliable speed, start procedure. What does that do? How can that help? Well, it helps because initially it's about flying the aircraft. So ignore the ECAM, fly the aircraft, and establish a safe flight path. Right, so it also means you have certain memory items. And the most important memory items are autopilot off, autothrust off, flight directors off. And the flight directors off may have helped them in this case because the data they recovered, regarding the flight directors, they sporadically disappeared, but sporadically came back on again, and then indicating a plus vertical speed indication of 1,400 feet. So the pitch bar showing a pitch up demand, which of course, as a pilot, if you're under stress, could lead to you actually wanting to get that pitch attitude, which of course was wrong because they were already in a stall. It would make sense, but again, it's a flight director. Going back to very simple modes, the modes that were available prior to the disconnect of the autopilot. We'll get to that in a minute, Juma. That's also very interesting. Right, so again, nobody called out unreliable airspeed, and so that's where I was like, man, you know, if they just had put in 2.5 degree pitch, average fuel flow, so in this case, it's a wrong fuel flow here in the FENIX at the moment, but in the real aircraft, I would put 1,200 kilogram fuel flow left and right, and pitch 2.5 degrees. Right, Roger, 1228. We'll send that. Thank you very much for the service. 122.8. And the radar service should be finished. Let me just go ATC com, connection, status. Come on, ATC com, connection status. Disconnect. Right, so so they didn't call out unreliable airspeed, and then, you know, if you put 2.5 degree pitch and the average fuel flow, then that's it. You're pretty much safe. The aircraft will be in a stable flight path. It may not be at a perfect speed, but it will neither overspeed nor will it stall. But they didn't make the call out, so they didn't go into that procedure. So what happened then? Well, here's the thing. The ECAM showed several messages. So it was like auto flight or flight control autopilot off. It showed flight control alternate law protection lost. Max speed, blah, blah, blah. Then it showed auto thrust off. And, you know, probably something else. So the ECAM just showed the symptoms it didn't show the pilots the cause, the root cause of these issues. And that would have been airspeed disagree, for example. Right? Or ADR disagree, or something like that in that regard, which may have prompted them through that training that they had received to say, oh, you know what? The air data is erroneous. Oh, that means we have to do unreliable speed. But that trigger never came, and so the ECAM is also counterproductive. And I've noted down the time. It was 2 minutes, I think 2 minutes 30 seconds after the autopilot disconnected, that finally that message regarding airspeed disagree or something like that came up on the ECAM. So another kind of tragic event there. Oh yeah, and then back then, I remember that very well. The unreliable speed procedure was normally done in a simulator at low altitudes. Why? Well, because that's where it's most critical. You are low to the ground. If you lose control of the aircraft at low altitude, you're doomed, right? So that's where, I remember, that was where the training mainly took part, with unreliable speed. So again, the trigger is missing. You're at 35,000 feet. Well, why the hell should I do unreliable speed procedure up here, right? But of course, that unreliable speed has to be done at any altitude. Danke. Dankeschön. They still had ground speed. Plane must have had some ridiculous low ground speed when they were stalling or even falling to the ground. Was never mentioned in Mentor video, but should the pilots use ground speed in this case? Well, ground speed is one of those things which is difficult to look at. It could be that the ground speed is actually not coming from the GPS signals. What does that mean? It means it comes from the ADR system and may be calculated, and that means that they may not have had a proper ground speed indication because the ADR were at fault, right? They didn't have the pitot info, and so that's where yeah, I'm not sure how it's on the A330. So, but again, ground speed, maybe they didn't trust that indication or didn't see it because they were under stress. I don't know. So Mark, so sorry, how to ask this? Does the FMC not understand the aircraft position, speed, alt, etc., make adjustments to the control sensitivity? No, Mark, no. So the only time the FMS or the data in the MCDU that influences the flight controls is in managed mode. So the moment the autopilot drops out, and you go to alternate law, you're in selected modes, right? Or actually, you're in manual modes. So of course, the FMS at this point has no influence whatsoever. Yeah, exactly. Meal arrived. Yeah. Yeah. So again, something that could have played a big factor in the erection of the pilots. Another thing that caused confusion, in my opinion, was the fact that initially, so for the first 45 seconds, the speed indications were showing either no data or showing speeds around 60 to 80 knots. So that's something that, of course, confused the pilots because they didn't quite understand and trust the instruments after that anyways. Also, one very peculiar effect when the speed indications come back is the following. And I'll show you a quick picture there regarding the speed trend. So let me just show you that here. Hold on. Right, so as the Oh, what? No, I'm a captain. Florian. How dare you? I'm a captain. So you mean the first officer at the controls? Yeah, so the two pilots there were in the Air France aircraft at the controls. They were first officers, yeah. Right, so what happens is as the... No worries, Florian. Oh, good. No way. Oh, good. So as the speed indication comes back initially, what can happen is that you get this kind of speed trend error. And when a pilot sees that, he has the impression the aircraft is accelerating very quickly, because that top end of the arrow shows you where the speed will likely be in 10 seconds time. Oh yeah, Max, yeah, exactly. That was my wife bringing me my meal. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so again, another input, a visual input that's misleading, right? Because if you're in a stall, why should that happen? Dankeschön. Yeah, so again, another little piece of the puzzle where it would point towards or explain a little bit why the pilots reacted the way they did. What's the green bar in the red section? Hang on. Let's have a look again. Oops. Oh, that's the in normal law, that shows you the speed at which the automatic protection for overspeed kicks in. So when the extra speed gets to that, the autopilot flight management system will actually pull up the aircraft to remain at or below that speed. But that is not available in alternate law. You will not see that. You will have crosses there, amber crosses, showing you that the protection, the high-speed protection is lost. So we get to the third point. And that's something I have great difficulties in understanding. And that is that neither of the pilots identified that they were in a stall situation. How could that be? How can it be that with all your sensors and your indications that you don't realize the aircraft is falling towards the ground at 10,000 feet per minute? And if you look at the charts, the aircraft initially climbed up to about almost 38,000 feet, dropping speed to stall speed or below, and then the aircraft starting to fall. And as they were passing, let me just get the graph again. Yeah, and as they were passing, let's just see the highest point here. Yeah, so at this, almost 38,000 feet, and they started to drop again. And as they were passing 35,000 feet back down, their descent rate was already at 10,000 feet per minute or more. And the angle of attack reached about 40 degrees. So what's angle of attack? I know most of you will know that, but maybe there are some people here that don't know what the angle of attack is. And so the angle of attack is the difference between the pitch angle, so the longitudinal angle of the aircraft, and the flight path angle. So the aircraft was dropping at around 100 knots and going forward at about 100 knots. And so that angle was, so between the pitch of the aircraft and the path of the aircraft was over 40 degrees. And that's a severe full stall situation right there. Sanders, we'll have a look at the weather in a second. Yeah, so how come they never understood that? And here, something comes to mind, and I think that's another human factor that may explain that to a certain point, was, first of all, the aircraft was pretty much at 1G all the time. Right? They did not have a falling sensation. They were sitting in their seats at 1G. The only sensation they had was a very kind of heavy buffeting from the low speed stall buffet. But as the aircraft was going down at 10,000 feet per minute, you had a very strong airflow around the cockpit, around the aircraft. And so as they accelerated on their way down, the noise in the cockpit, so the wind noise, increased. Again, giving maybe subconsciously a feeling that the speed is increasing. Well, the speed wasn't increasing. It was just the airflow that was increasing in speed. But again, a false sensation. And at some point, one of the pilots, so the pilot flying, at some point commented and said, I have the impression we have the speeds. And nobody else, so neither the captain nor the other first officer, disagreed with that comment. And exactly, so at some point he even tried to use the speed brakes, which the other two pilots, so the captain and the other first officer, said, don't use the speed brakes. Another thing, and this is very speculative as well from my side, but it could very well be that the buffeting that they were experiencing was interpreted by them as a high-speed buffet. And that kind of fed their mental picture, right? Because they thought they were more towards overspeed. Again, all the sensations they had, right? With the max power, so the thrust being at toga power. Yeah, max exactly. The noise of the airflow increasing and the feeling that they were accelerating fueled their impression that they were actually more towards an overspeed condition than a stall. And so if they were actually hearing the stall warning, which continuously came on all the time until they crashed, they may have just either not heard that because of the confusion, or they did not believe that warning. They thought it was a erroneous warning. And because of the fact that the stall warning is fed through the angle of attack sensors, and the angle of attack sensors can have a fault as well, it's possible, right, that it could be a false warning. Well, in this case it wasn't, but again, it didn't fit into that mental picture. And tragically enough, if you look at the transcript of the voice recorder, the last couple of comments from the pilots were like, watch up, you're pitching up there. You're pitching up. And then, well, we are at 4,000 feet. And that was sort of the pilot flying. He was still, inputting pitch back, nose up inputs into the stick. And the captain, at round about 10 seconds prior to impact, said, go on, pull.
Welcome aboard the Captain Black Box Twitch channel subscriber experience. Could new subscribers please make your way to the first class cabin, where complimentary drinks, snacks and premium flight entertainment will be served. Thank you.
Geep,
Hello,
thank you so
BB,
much.
Hope you're well.
I am. Thank you much for asking. Hope you are well as well too, Geep. Thank you so much for the awesome support. 52 months here on Twitch. Geep, thank you so much. And I hope you're enjoying your Christmas or pre-Christmas period here. Right, we're going to start a descent in a minute. So we'll do that with managed descent out blue 140. Right, and so the last comments were, let's go pull up, pull up, pull up. Then the first officer said, I think we're going to crash. This can't be true. But what's happening? And the very last recording on that voice recorder was the captain saying 10 degrees pitch attitude. So, and that's where the recording ended. So again, all the pilots, you could see that they did not understand that they were in a deep stall. Hey Hayden, thank you much for the 100 bits, and sorry, a very experienced and nice captain too. I bet your FOs are pleased when they roster with you. I hope so, Hayden. I hope so. Thank you so much for the support, and thanks for the kind words. Yeah. So all in all, as I really consciously looked through the report there, I tried to put envision myself in that situation, and I have to say, back then, with the training I had back then, I don't know how I would have reacted. And that's the scary part. So, you know, it's very easy to blame the pilots in this case and saying, hey, you know, basic flying, pitch and power, and so on, you know, totally unnecessary to lose the control of the aircraft. Well, you can see from the timing, it was a extremely violent and dynamic situation, and also with the fact that flying manually at high altitude with your muscle memory, that's completely wrong at that altitude, and the fact that within only a few seconds the aircraft actually already entered a stall situation. And also the question is, as they were passing 35,000 feet, 40-degree angle of attack, so deep stall, 10,000 feet per minute rate of descent, how or what procedure would they have needed to get out of the stall? So how far would they need to pitch down, and how long would they have to wait regarding speed increase to pull up without breaking the aircraft? And it wasn't even possible. And the problem is, well, Airbus can't or never tested that. Right? Obviously, they won't put the aircraft, the real aircraft, into that position. So you could only simulate that through a computer program. And I guess you could do that in a good manner. So, you know, you would probably get some valid data with that. But I never read anything regarding, what it would have taken for them to get out of that stall. No, so the angle of attack sensors are not linked to the pitos, Andreas. No, they're not. Didn't the stall horn stop once the plane pitched up, since the plane interpreted these speeds with the nose up possible? Yeah, so Juma, if you look at the voice recorder transcripts, you see that sometimes the stall warning stopped. However, the stall warning continuously reappeared as they were falling. So it was sporadic, but it was on a regular basis. Do you think that it was a problem all the pilots received not enough training in flying manually in cruise altitude? Yes, Philip, that's one of the issues. And I can tell you that there was a time, Philip, where the mindset was put on maximum automation. The idea was that only maximum use of automation is safe or provides the highest degree of safety. Now, because of that Air France accident and some other accidents that happened, there was an initiative to actually roll back that tendency and have pilots, especially long-range pilots, do a lot more manual flying. I know that my company, for example, even though the long-range pilots go into simulator 4 times a year, flying 4 hours each, they actually got a 5th mission just for manual flying. And so yes, the emphasis was put back on manual flying and understanding high altitude flying compared to low altitude flying. Here in the Airbus, direct normal law and alternate law, or even direct law. All these things were practiced, and especially the unreliable airspeed is something I've had in my check rides and in my refresher missions continuously over the last 3 years now. And my last training session with unreliable speed was only like 4 or 5 weeks ago. So definitely has there been a shift on a focus on how to deal with a faulty indication regarding speed, altitude, etc. Andreas, the problem is though, if you have a 40-degree angle of attack, you would not see that bird. It would be somewhere down here. They would have not seen that, even if that was switched on. Jin Gordon, do you think the stick instead of the normal connected yoke played a big role in the incident? Well, Jin, like I said, the problem was that even alternate law, the auto trim still worked, and the aircraft was performing in a manner where it was trying to G-load stabilize the aircraft. And so any natural tendency of the aircraft to put the nose down because the speed was dropping was counteracted by the flight control system. And so that took away the intuition for the pilot to understand the speed is dropping, the nose is dropping, we're getting slower. Right, let me get the weather real quickly. Oh, we have Bergen Tower available. That's nice, 19.1. That's very cool. 19.1. I don't see ATIS. So let me just fetch the weather this way. Juma, you will start your training as a pilot next year in Norway. Nice. And in your view, how to prevent a scenario like this from happening? I would hate to go planes. Juma, I'm pretty certain that when you do your training, there will be emphasis on manual flying and very basic pitch and power values. So even now, so let me show you something then. So even now, if I were to lose the speed indications here, and I'm ignoring that one as well. So manual flight, manual thrust. And let's say the flight director. So we have unreliable speed, autopilot off, auto thrust off, and flight directors off, bird on. I would simply put my values, 2.5 degree pitch, and average fuel flow, which in this case is about 1,000 kilograms per hour. And that's it. I've stabilized the flight path. And now I have time. It doesn't matter if you still have a very slight sink rate, or, you know, if the speed is not exactly at the right speed, whatever. But you have time available now. The aircraft is in a stable condition. And that's something, obviously, the training is now emphasizing a lot more. Understand, you know, get the pilots to have faith in something that, as long as you have a power or fuel flow value and a pitch indication, you can get the aircraft into stable flight path immediately. And now look at the speed here. So that is still a valid input, because that gets its input from the ADR3. So look at that. Even the speed is maintaining quite nicely. 2.5 degrees, you know, level flight, speed just going back ever so slightly. And so there you have it. That's something that is being, you know, very, very or trained in a very kind of forceful manner at the moment. And I'm sure that's not just at our company. I'm sure that that is being done pretty much everywhere. So I need to prepare the approach now, guys. So let me just go ahead and look at the weather. So variable 3 knots. I'm going to take the runway 17 because I don't have ATIS. And although I can contact the tower and ask if 17. Okay, so okay.
Charlie departure 17. Climb 6,000 feet, squawk 1404.
Lego to Charlie 6,000 feet and squawk 1404. Video this one, I think.
118 Yankee, is that correct?
Bergen Tower, very good evening from Windmill 711.
Windmill 711, please land my tower, good evening.
Good evening, unable to receive NATIS. Oh, actually now it's online as we speak. Is runway 17? Yeah, it looks like runway 17 is in use. Okay, that's all I wanted to hear.
Yeah, runway 17 in use.
Okay, talk to you later. So, quickly, let me get the data in here. Alex, thank you so much. Yeah, I'll go through the rest of the questions in a minute once I've landed. This is an interesting topic, isn't it? I mean, it's very emotional. And, you know, you can be very quick in blaming the pilots. So runway 17. So orbital low is fine. We're going to exit at taxiway Alpha 6 or Alpha 7. So orbital low is good. Threats. Decision height. So we'll take the ILS Whiskey. And that's going to be 370. Config full. That's fine, that's fine, that's fine. We're coming into the path. We're still a bit fast. Are you ready for the approach brief?
Go ahead.
Any questions?
No questions.
I'm just doing that so the co-pilot can do his items and his flows because we're passing 10,000 feet here. Speed brake's coming back in. And I'm going to send now via the arrival routing. Let's go down to 5,000 initially. So thrust idle ascent, out blue, flight level 50. And the transition level is actually 8.5. So that's going to be 370 on the minimums, 200 feet, 8.5 ILS, and the elevation is about 170 feet. So QNH is 1000. Temperature is -6, pretty cold. And the wind is 060 at 3. So we're going to set the altimeter here to 1000.
1000 set, passing 7,400. Now, checked.
Yeah, one attack, request
approach checklist.
Baro ref.
QNH 1000 set.
1000 set. Seatbelts on. Minimum.
Baro 370 feet set. Set and checked.
Auto brake.
Low. Low set. Set and checked.
Engine mode selector.
Normal.
Approach checklist completed.
There we go. So we're flying the ARC pretty dark at the moment. 220 knots as instructed from the arrival routing. Although let me just check if we have any traffic. So that should be below. Yeah, there's traffic on final. But I think we're good to go to direct Gilva. So let's do that nice shortcut. Now, I don't want to accelerate. Let's continue 220 knots. And then we can descend down to 4,000 feet. So just make sure again that we don't have anyone in the approach that we would cut off. But that looks fine. I didn't hear anybody else call in either. Okay, Jumea, so all the best for your medical. Yeah, so Yaroslav, at the moment, normally with these approaches, you go into the progress page, and the required in the approach is 0.3 nautical miles. But that normally is only from the final approach point onwards to the runway. And there's the actual estimated accuracy. And so the accuracy right now is high. We have GPS as primary updating means.
Good evening, it's Speedbird 44 Kilo. We're an Airbus A320, stand 32 with information Lima. Request clearance to London Gatwick.
Right, there's one aircraft.
Kilo, good evening.
Sorry.
Clear to London Gatwick via 3 Charlie departure with runway 17. Climb 6000 stroke 7676.
So your maximum allowed accuracy from the final approach point down to the runway is 0.3, unless if you're doing an RMP approach, for example, and it says something different. Sometimes you do have a more restrictive minimum, and then it will tell you that on the approach plate. Hey, Coffee Kala, thank you so much for the raid. Welcome, everyone. We're inbound to Bergen.
Tower Nordic 2319 ILS.
So new scenery from RDPresets. And we're giving away 2 copies, guys. So, giveaway.
17 Nordic 2319.
So, we're giving away a copy of... Actually, 2 copies I have to give away. Copy Bergen scenery. And so the code would be !Bergen, and we're giving away the first copy now. And you have to be on Twitch, guys. Sorry, on Twitch, !Bergen to join the giveaway. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's only I can only do that on Twitch, not on YouTube. Right, so active the approach. Oh, actually, I tell you what. No, guys, stand by. I will give you one copy now on Twitch, and after landing, I'll give 1 copy away for the YouTube channel. That I can do. I just can't do it at the same time. That's all. So stay calm. Those of you on YouTube, you will get a chance after landing. So we're on managed speed here. We've got good indication. The ILS is checked. Bravo Golf. Bravo Romeo. And we got glide slope star, lock star. Flaps 1.
Speed checked. Flaps 1.
And so the missed approach 170, and when passing 2000. Proceed rated 170 Fox Lima Sierra to Unsel. So that's to Fox Lima Sierra in there. So there we go. Now we're going to contact the tower.
Taxi link point 17 via Whiskey Delta Yankee.
Just going to put the speed brakes out of it so we get below the placket speed for flaps 2. Yeah, Tower, good evening from Windmill 7 on the ILS 17. Flaps 2. Speed checked.
Hello.
Flaps 2. Radar altimeter alive. Runway 17 cleared to land, windmill 711, and pilot report wind at the present position is 030 at 14 knots.
Roger.
Gear down. We've got to slow down, gear down.
231 and I don't taxi stand 16.
Cabin crew, be seated for landing.
And November.
Starlink's just one.
November to stand 16.
But if you want to, you can enter here on Twitch and later on YouTube. That I don't mind. Flaps 3.
Speed checked. Flaps 3.
Flaps 4.
Speed checked. Flaps 4.
Wow, that speed has to change because otherwise we're going to get in a bit of trouble there. Beautiful. Landing checklist.
ECAM memo.
Landing, no blue.
Landing checklist completed.
So the wind is changing now. And we have a component of 5 knots tailwind. So it's getting better. Yeah, now it's changing. Many a flight.
$1,000.
Checked.
1,000.
Checked. Okay, so the wind now is about 3 knots tailwind, so it's more from the left. Oh, there's a nice big lag. So on the ground, the wind was variable. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with the wind. So we're clear to land. The wind now from the left 13 knots. That's okay. We can accept
100
that.
above.
400.
So runway's in sight.
200.
Minimums.
Continue.
Minimum. 100. 50. 40. 30. 20.
Yankee, line up runway 17.
Line up runway 17, vidare to 18 Yankee via Alpha.
Spoilers. Reverse green. Decel. Yeah. So good decel. Manual brakes.
70 knots.
Checked. Yeah, that's always due to the lag, Solid Wings. So it's a landing. Actually, with these conditions, I would be quite happy with to have, kind of a positive touchdown.
Windmill 711, welcome to Flesland taxiway Echo Whiskey, stand 25.
Echo Whiskey, stand 25. Thank you very much. Lovely to be here again, Windmill 711. So Echo Whiskey.
Yankee, wind, verbal 3 knots, runway 17, clear for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff 17, vidare to 18 Yankee.
So Echo Whiskey and then gate is going to be 25 there. Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the captain and the entire crew, we'd like to welcome you to our destination. For your safety, please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened leaving all items and
After landing
handling
checklist.
safely stowed until the seatbelt
Radar
signs
and
have
predictive
been
wind shear
switched on.
system.
44 kilo,
Before you leave
732
the
British
aircraft,
push and
please
start.
ensure you have all your personal items and
44
hand
kilo, push and start, British Q9.
Off.
Careful when opening overhead
After
lockers
landing
and
checklist
Welcome
completed.
aboard the Captain Blackbox
through
YouTube
the
channel
Q9
subscriber experience. Could
Hey,
new
Sarah,
subscribers
thank you so
please
much.
make their way to the first class cabin where complimentary drinks, snacks and premium flight entertainment will be served. Thank you.
So Sarah, thank you so much for the 4 months on YouTube. That's really kind of you. Thank you so much for your support. Set.
follow the signs to flight connections. This will lead you on to your departure terminal, and please check your gate number in the departure lounge.
So there's 25.
Avoid missing
That's
your
where we
onward
park.
flight. We strongly recommend that you go straight to your departure terminal. For those of you who do not have a boarding card, please go directly to the flight connections desk. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the entire airline, thank you very much for choosing to fly with us today, and we hope to see you again in the near future. Thank you.
Oh, is that working?
Quick 648, tower head out, continue approach 17 and keep high speed.
Let's see.
Continue approach, runway 17,
Is it going uphill here? Strobe lights off.
So 18 Yankee now for the ATC, Unicom 122.8, så långt. Unicom 122.8, Willis 1 Yankee, ha det bra.
Right, we'll stop here. Slow motion. Yeah, I'm sorry. I wasn't sure if that was going to indicate or not. So park brake is on. Oh, actually, it does. Or does not. No, I just thought that went down a bit, but it didn't. All right, set. Right, so APU bleed is on. Engines off. So Seiran, I've actually been following you since 2017. I've learned a lot from you in all this time. I'm glad that you are that your all works, Captain. That's really cool. Seiran, thank you so much for the kind words and thank you for your support. That's really, really kind. So I'm gonna switch off the beacon lights. That as well. I'll show you the scenery in daytime and summertime as well. No worries. And then we'll give away the first prize here.
Hey BB, have you done a stream on this yet? CDG altimeter error? Your analysis would be very interesting.
Hey Lovis, thank you so much. First of all, that 500 bits, that's really generous. Thank you so much, Lovis. And then I'm looking at the analysis here. So it was an Air France. Oh, was that in Paris? Yeah. And that was due to a wrong altimeter setting. That is something actually that you can show here. The only thing that doesn't work if it's a cold temperature correction. That only works, so the cold temperature error on the altimeter is actually only working in X-plane 12. But a wrong altimeter setting is something on a non-precision approach that has some very drastic consequences, as this report shows. So we know that for every 1 hectopascal, you have about 30 feet difference. And so if you put in, for example, a value too low, so let's say you put in 10 hectopascal lower than it actually is, your altimeter will show a lower altitude. Say on the opposite side, so let's say the QNH 1000 today here at the airfield, and you set 1010, you are actually about 300 feet higher indicating on the altimeter than what he should have. So if that's the case, so your altimeter is showing 300 feet higher because of a wrongly set altimeter setting, you obviously will fly lower to again have the right out indication, but the true altitude will be 300 feet lower. And so that's exactly what happened. So they said it, instead of having 1001, they actually dialed in 1011. And then they flew the path published on the charts, which of course was then 300 feet lower, and they were about 300 feet lower or below their descent profile. So that's what happens. Right, so first giveaway prize is as follow. The winner of one copy here on Twitch is to Andy B. Congratulations, Andy. And Andy, please do me a favor. Message me here on Twitch. There we go. Let me just whisper you. Hold on. Andy, can you just type hello again in the chat, please, so that I can quickly whisper you. Yeah, Yaroslav, exactly. So, because such a weird QNH setting, let me just see. Andy, there we go. Ah, there we go. So Andy, thank you much, and I'm going to whisper you here. There we go. Congrats. So all I need, Andy, is your email address, and I will put that forward to the developer, and that way I can get you a copy then. Parking checklist.
Parking brake or chocks.
Parking brake set. Set and checked.
Engines.
Off.
Wing lights.
Off.
Fuel pumps.
Off.
Parking checklist completed.
Right. Unfortunately, at the moment, there is a problem with the jetways. So, unfortunately, they do not work at the moment. They're aware of it, and they are going to fix it as fast as they can. Yeah, so you can't activate the jetways, unfortunately. So the scenery is as follows. So this is nighttime. And again, nice snowy Bergen airport. And they have modeled the interior of the terminal, which is very nice. I always like that. I think they actually... Bergen and Mott. They actually have the outside here. So the check-in area. With a lovely Christmas tree as well. Oops. There we go. So that's nice. Nice wintry atmosphere here. And so let's put that to summertime. So I'm going to put this to few clouds. And that way you can see the apron now without snow. That's the old part, isn't it? This terminal. So here as well, you have part of the terminal modeled. Very nice. So actually you can board, you can theoretically board the aircraft through the jetway. And I'll show you daytime. Let's do summertime here. Alright, nice. Someone just departing. Just mind the gap, yeah. Can someone explain to me, why does it say Bergen ? So I'm sure that shows the real sign as well, but why does it say ? That must be something with the language. So the real sign is like that, but yeah, nobody knows why. Okay, there we go. Look at that. Some ATC controllers here. Very nice. And helicopters, so some static aircraft in as well. And nice cruise ships, of course. Oh, sorry. So regarding my last question, I meant what do you check for on the IRS data page? Okay. So what we do is we make sure that all of the INS are aligned properly. So we go to the position monitor page and we check that all of the IRS show nav. If there's an issue, let's say I'm going to fail one of the IRS. Let me just go ahead through the FSI panel. Oh, URAC, yeah, it could be. Yeah, maybe that, yeah. So let's fail a IRS 1. So now we can see, for example, that we don't have a valid position there, right? So it could say aligned, for example. It may not show anything there. And so, yeah, that's why you confirm that all of the INS are aligned correctly. Right, so let me just log out. Or actually log into the other account. Hold on. So, hang on. How do I get to YouTube? Right, give me a second, guys. All right, you got that? Okay, cool. Right, were there some other questions? So, chatbot. Right, I just need to install the chatbot quickly, and then I'll be with you. And we'll try to give away one more copy, but this time on YouTube, so that they have a chance as well of winning. Right. So, if there's no more question regarding the stuff we talked about today. Now, what a beautiful area here as well. Look at that. Absolutely gorgeous. I'm planning to do another flight in the Cessna 414 that has received an update or upgrade. So that will be interesting to see how that works. And we're flying from Pula to Klagenfurt and then further on towards Innsbruck. And I've already seen that Brendel is flying along, and anyone that wants to fly along, please do so. And we'll be on the multiplayer account. So let me have a look. How do I get to connect to YouTube? I know that you can connect to YouTube. How did I do that? Oh, there we go. Hold on, YouTube restart. There we go. Okay, so now we're getting there. So we are connected. Fantastic. So let's do a giveaway. So we'll go again. So on YouTube this time, let me see if I can activate that. Prize copy of RDPresets Bergen. And open giveaway. Right, can you guys try to go ! Bergen to see if that works? No, for some reason it's not. Hang on, guys, stop, please. It's not registering for some reason. So I will have to do that on the other PC. It looks like it needs to be on the streaming PC. All right, so let me just quickly change that again. Where was that again? That was console settings. There we go. So YouTube restart, yes. Hey Tishka, how you doing? Right, yeah, so the command will be !Bergen, but give me a second to set up the giveaway. So giveaway Bergen copy RDPreset Bergen. All right. So try again. There we go. That should work. So !Bergen to join on YouTube, and then you get a chance of winning a free copy of the scenery. Oh, hang on. Yeah, stop. No, sorry. Oh no, hang on. Sorry, no. Now, please. Sorry. Now it should work. Go, please, everyone. Now !Bergen. I do apologize. So now it's counting all the entry. So M was the first one, Fibernaut was the second one to join, Philip, Zibu, Seran, Captain Beerbear, hey, how you doing? MWO and Kitman, and so on. Yeah, so now it works. And while we wait for everyone to take part, I'll give another quick tour here of the scenery. Yeah, it's a beautiful area here. Look at that. Absolutely gorgeous. It does make you want to visit Bergen, doesn't it? And Norway in general. Absolutely gorgeous. Let's see if we can zoom a bit faster here. Oh yeah, there we go. That's better. Yeah, exclamation mark Bergen. So make sure that, yeah, Bilbo, let me see if you've joined now. Yeah, you are in the giveaway. Yeah, Bilbo, you have registered. That's correct. Ah, that's a hotel, Scandic Hotel there as well. Right, lovely. So let's go and have a look here. Let me go to winter time again. So let's go real, oh, so not real time. And live weather here. So this is how it looks like in winter time. Frozen, right? That ship won't go anywhere now. Everything's frozen. No, Casper. Hey, I've not been up to Scandinavia lately. Last trip was up to Copenhagen and Gothenburg. But even though it was cold, it didn't have snow yet. So lovely. Right, has everyone entered the giveaway? Then I would like to close it. So I'm going to close it in a couple of seconds. So exclamation mark Bergen on YouTube to get a chance of winning a free copy of the RDPresets Bergen scenery. And a big thank you to the developer who's been kind enough to give us 2 copies to give away. All right, so closing the giveaway in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, Sanders, that's a question. Right, giveaway is closed, and we're picking the winner in 3, 2, 1. And the winner of a free copy is Flyzer787. I just saw you post them. There we go. So Flyzer, congratulations. And Flyzer, can you do me a favor? Because you can't whisper here in YouTube. Can you please send me an email on captainblackbox@gmail.com, and then I can get you a code for the Bergen. And yeah, congratulations again, guys. Thank you very much for taking part. Thank you so much for the support. And so if you want to watch me fly the Cessna 414, stay tuned. I'll be restarting the stream in about 5 minutes. And all of my moderators, a big thank you for being here. And I hope you enjoyed the discussion we had about the Air France. Oh, look at that, beautiful. Air France 447 accident. Right, so if you are not joining the next flight, the next stream is going to be on Friday. So this Friday at 1700 UTC. So Friday, 16th December, 1700 UTC. Thank you so much, everyone. Take care.